How we doing, everyone? Welcome to another edition of FSI's PGA DFS Pick Show. I'm your host, TK Nation 47, joined with John Cool 19. John, we were on the wrong side. Let's just start out by saying that we were on the wrong side of the weather advantage, and certainly wanted that. But did you enjoy the players at all? It was hard, but we got through it.
Yeah, I got to watch most of the Saturday coverage, and then some of Sunday's coverage as well. It was tough watching, knowing that basically I had zero shot at any of my DraftKings lineups at that point. We absolutely expected what we saw on Thursday, which was delays, and we absolutely expected what we saw on Saturday, which was hell for the golfers who had to play in it. But we didn't expect was them to just completely write off Friday, and all of the golfers that I faded ended up getting the advantage of playing that Thursday morning. So it was just ugly. I was ready to move on before I went to bed on Saturday night, and there were still at least 2.5 rounds of golf left at that time. So tough pill to swallow. Moving on, much different event this week. Still some wind, but not like what we saw last week.
Yeah, we were definitely expecting that Saturday. We can't say that we weren't. What we were expecting was the AM guys. Well, first off, the PM wave on Thursday to have finished on Friday, and then that AM wave that started in the later half of Friday afternoon to have to play in that brutal conditions. We just didn't expect the electricity in the storm on Friday to absolutely push Friday completely out. And then it dragged on. The weather just dragged on all the way through the afternoon. We couldn't get back going. We didn't expect it, but that is when you're trying to stack weather advantages, that is the problems that you run into. Unpredictability. And that's what happened, was an unpredictable storm on Friday crushed us. And then Saturday just, oh my gosh, that was abysmal to watch. I think Brooks was 12 plus 12 in 20 holes. I mean,
so bad.
Just
everybody that I played was terrible on Saturday, so it was really tough. And I even posted in our Discord chat. Make sure if you're looking at this weather and you're trying to do something drastic, play both waves, because we don't know what's going to happen. I didn't take my own advice nearly enough. I played like one line that was stacked the other way, and it still didn't do that well. Really tough.
Yeah. All right. So the Players Championship, we're washing it off. I even switched up the hat, so we're getting it all out of our system. We're moving on to the Valspar Championship, the last leg of the Florida swing. Thank God.
Yes.
won't be the end of water, in our foreseeable future, but it will be the end of these tough Florida courses. We definitely have one at that. Talk to us a little bit about the course and what we can expect.
Sounds good. Yeah, this week is the Valspar Championship. We are at Innisbrook Resort. This is the Copperhead course, Palm Harbor, Florida. This is a par 71, a little bit different setup this week at 7,300 yards. But we're looking at 5 par 3s and then the typical 4 par 5s. So although it's only the par 71, we still get all of the par 5s, and they are essential this week to score. Many of the weeks that we talk about it, but this week especially, par 5 scoring is really, really critical. This is a tree-lined course. It's difficult to find the fairway off the green. We're going to be looking at scrambling quite a bit here this week. It's not nearly as difficult a course, though, as we've seen the last few weeks. There is some hazards in play. We're going to see some big scores, but in general, it's not nearly as tough as the players have had to go through the last couple weeks. We're probably looking at a winner somewhere in like the low teens. And with all of the rain that Florida has had over the last week or two, the course should be nice and soft. It should play relatively easy for these guys, although I do see some wind in the forecast, especially on the weekend. So I think Thursday will probably be prime scoring conditions. Hopefully everyone gets in a full round on that day. And probably the cut is typically 0 to +4. And I think the biggest swing is that where this event is located in the schedule, it often doesn't bring out the best field. This week's quite a bit better since we're in that build up to the Masters. When they play this in May, it doesn't really get the same field strength of field. So interesting look there. I'm looking at a ton of tee to green this week. You got to be able to be good off the tee approach and around the greens. The off the tee isn't quite as important approach, much more important this week. and accuracy off the tee is way more important than distance. A lot of guys will club down here, but even if you club down, you got to hit the fairways here to be able to make birdies. So looking at that quite a bit, birdie or better this week, factoring that back in. We've kind of been fading that a bit the last few weeks for bogeys avoided, but birdie or better is in my model this week. And then proximity, 175 to 200, 200 plus. There are lots of long approaches on this course. And then I'm looking at par 4 scoring, really the 400 to 450 range is kind of the one I'm targeting the most. You can plug in that par 3 scoring if you want. These are really tough, really long par 3s. In general, I don't see tons of scoring happening there. So I'm just kind of fading that from my model, but certainly you can plug that in with there being an extra par 3 this week.
Yeah, I was actually going to add that on to the end there, that I have 200 to 225 par 3s. Big shout out to Fantasy National Golf Club for all of the modeling stats that we talk about on our show here. Thanks to them for putting that together. Very, very key part of our research and process.
Essential.
Yes, very much so. I love good drives. That's huge in the model. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in tee to green for sure. Big tee to green week at the Valspar. You got to do a lot of everything, well. It takes a really complete golfer to do well here at the Innisbrook. All right, moving on to our picks. Favorites going to be for me is Shane Lowry, 9,700, 30 to 1. I love that number. I think that's a strong bet. He's got a pretty high expensive price tag here on DraftKings compared to some of the names here at the top. 30 to 1. He's in great form, really strong model fit as well. 4th tee to green, 10th in ball striking, 5th on the approach, 18th in that good drives category, that stat that I love this week. 6.8 on the approach at the Honda, where he finished 2nd, 13th at the Players, where he had 3.9 on the approach. He gained on the greens in both events. We saw the ace on 17. Everybody loved that reaction from Shane Lowry, the 10th player ever to do it. I think he's going to roll that confidence into another strong week. And it's St. Patrick's Day this week, and we got to have the Irish golfer in our slides. So yeah, I'm big on Shane Lowry this week. A 44th here in 2018. Tells me he's played the course, but I'm not really looking into course history that much. I'm just really focusing on who's hitting the ball well and who's playing at their peak. Shane Lowry is definitely that. Your thoughts on him? Who's your favorite for the week?
Yeah, Lowry comes in either 2 or 3 in my overall model, although I'm going to be working in a little more of that wind shots gained in windy conditions. That might push Lowry up to the top of my modeling here after I refigure it just a little bit. But yeah, I do like Shane Lowry a whole lot. I did not think of the St. Paddy's Day narrative. Appreciate you being on top of that. For me, Louis Oosthuizen came out number 1 overall in my model. The form it's good right now, not awesome, but he had a really bad Sunday at the Players. Was 4 strokes over par. He was kind of just treading water until then, and that's all you needed to do at the Players and have one good round, and you were top 10. Instead, he had one bad round, and that pushed him down the leaderboard a bit. But really, for me, he's as consistent as they get on tour. I don't have on Fantasy National that he has missed a cut in over a year, all of 2021, and then back into 2021. He didn't miss any. Back into 2020, he missed in November. So long time for him to just make cuts over and over and over. I think he's probably going to be pretty popular. He's priced down a little bit, in my opinion, on DraftKings. He easily could have been over 10K this week. His form coming in, though, the last 6 events, he does have 3 top 15s and then 3 that are just made cuts that are just not so great. So kind of up and down a little bit in that area for him. The course history, though, is pretty good. He's made his last 4 cuts here. That includes 7th, 16th, runner-up, and then 8th just last year at this event. The model loves him. Just all of the categories. He's at least top 3rd or so in 15th on approach, 13th ball striking, 5th tee to green, which we're going to be talking about over and over today, 14th in scrambling, as well as top 10 around the greens and birdie or better. I'd love some Louis this week. My only concern is that that ownership percentage creeping way up if you're looking for fades. I think Shane Lowry will come in lower owned and just as good of an option really at that same price on DraftKings.
Yeah, love both picks here. I think both these favorites have a real good shot being in the winning lineup. All right, moving on to the value section of the slides here. I'm going to go with Adam Hadwin at 7,900, 60 to 1, former winner of the course here in 2017. Finished ninth last week. A ton of birdies on his card on Monday, I believe. That awkward Monday finish, but I think he's rolling really well this year in general. He has a 9th at the Players, 26th at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, and a 16th at Pebble Beach. He had 4.2 strokes gain on the approach and 5.7 with the putter. He's got a really good, he's coming back a little bit. Hadwin took a time off after he won that event in 2017. You haven't really heard much from him, but it looks like the game is coming back to him. He's 5th in bogey avoidance, 21st tee to green, 22nd on the approach. Some of the best numbers we've seen from him on his way back. And then 10th in good drives. Got to have my good drives statistic in there. That's a pretty pivotal stat for me this week. And Hadwin checks out. All right. And next up, I have probably a GPP value play here with Alex Smalley, a Korn Ferry Tour grad, but he's played fairly well this year. 7,100, 180 to 1. I think he's a good course fit. He is a debutant. So he has not seen this course. That is always reason to be concerned for a really tough course like Innisbrook. But I think he's going to be a good course fit here with the good drives gained of 3rd in the field. 44 tee to green. There is room for improvement there, but he's 21st in ball striking. He had a 38th at the API where he gained 2.8 strokes on the approach and 5.6 strokes tee to green. He just lost 3.4 on the putting green, and he hasn't really had a putting performance like that in the last few events. It was really just a bad putting week for him at the API. It could be because he didn't know the greens. I'm hoping the greens aren't too tough for him this week at the Valspar. So I like him for a GPP play down here. There's not much value to feel good about, so I'm taking a shot here with Alex Smalley. What are your thoughts here about these two?
Yeah, I certainly see what you're saying on Alex Smalley. He kind of popped for me as well in the modeling here without any course history. And Adam Hadwin, one of the best beards on tour. I am excited to hopefully he's in a featured group this week. I can see some more of that. So I do like both of these guys this week. Hadwin popped. I was thinking of putting him as a value play as well this week. So I like that quite a bit. Went a little bit different direction, though, for me. Keegan Bradley as my first value play. The form's really good here. He's made 9 out of his last 10 cuts. 2 of those were top 10 finishes. That does include last week 5th at the Players and his event before that, 11th at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. So really good form there. The course history is not too shabby either. He's made 3 out of 5 cuts, and he was 2nd place last year, where he was just excellent tee to green, gained over 12 strokes on the field. And then the big stats we're looking at here, he's 6th on approach, 5th in ball striking, and 4th tee to green. There's a lot to like about Keegan this week. A little more on him later from me, but I will also be picking Mito. Mito is a fan favorite, a DFS darling, if you will. Everybody loves to play this guy. He is going to get a win on tour. I believe he advanced into the PGA Tour by way of getting multiple wins. Is that correct? While on the Korn Ferry, or did he just do it on points? I think it was multiple wins.
He had 3 wins on the Korn Ferry Tour. That's an automatic bid on tour for the PGA.
That's right. So, I mean, for that reason alone, the dude knows how to win. He is an excellent ball striker. He is 6th in this field, ball striking, 9th on approach, 6th tee to green. So very good there. And he's also really good scrambler. So even if he's going to miss a little bit on the fairway, which we don't want this week, he is one of the golfers who's excellent at getting it back on the green and giving himself birdie opportunities. Last week he did miss the cut, but I'm not too really concerned about how guys performed at the Players. A lot of them just had that bad wave. And really, he does have 2 bad putting events in a row. I'm hoping for a bounce back there because he typically is a better putter than that. He has struggled a little bit on some very difficult Bermuda putting the last few weeks. And I don't think these greens are nearly as difficult. But he was 30th at the Honda. That was Bermuda as well. And 15th at the Genesis, another tough event that I think kind of shows that he can play really well. He has no course history here, but I like Mito as a good option, cheaper option, maybe in consideration here for cash play. I play him quite a bit, but he's definitely cheap. That'd be helpful.
Yeah, I think he's going to garner some ownership, rightfully so. 7,200 is is a really, really, really soft price on Mito. I think it's a lot of it has to do with some of the finishes in Florida. There is a little bit of a concern with the putting splits from Bermuda to POA. But he's so early in his career, we're not really sure what exactly his putting surface is. So it could change in any instance. I think it's just getting to know these greens is going to be his initiation into what kind of putting splits is he going to be in favor for. So I think he's fine. You're taking shots at Mito over players down there, that you never think about playing.
Sure.
So
and guys that are not top 10 scrambling, top 10 ball striking, top 10 approach, you're not going to find someone else down in that range with those stats and top 10 tee to green as well.
Exactly. So just swallow the ownership, try to be different elsewhere. All right, moving on to the sleeper slide. I'm going to go with Vaughn Taylor at 6,700, 250 to 1. He's got some good course history here, and he is a nice model fit. He's actually been in some really good form too, looking back on it. He's 20th in the model with 26th on the approach, 27th tee to green, 17th in that long par 3 stat from 200 to 225, 47th in the good drive gain statistic. His best putting surface is Bermuda, 7th at the Puerto Rico, 55th at the Honda, 28th at the Pebble, 42nd at Sony. So he's made 4 straight cuts to start 2022. He was 6th here in 2021, 18th in 2019, and then he missed a cut back in like 2016. Really strong, fit here for Vaughn Taylor. I'm going to go ahead and go for it. I'm, weary of some of the Vaughn Taylor memories I have of just missed cuts and just abysmal putting rounds, but I don't know. I think Vaughn Taylor's flying under the radar. He fits the sleeper mold. I'm going for it. Your thoughts on him? And I really love your sleeper this week. I might even play him in cash, but go ahead and talk about him.
Yeah, I think Vaughn Taylor is an excellent option there. The course history is really intriguing, and the form as well is tough to argue against. For me, Pat Perez, he's a guy that I play from time to time. He's been popping in the model constantly lately, and I have just avoided getting on him because he had definitely a slow start to the year, but he's starting to come around. He was 33rd last week at the Players, 42nd at the API, and 39th at Genesis, all very difficult events. And this one, I think, sets up nicely for him as well. He actually did have 2 top 10s earlier in 2022, and then went on a bit of a slide after that. But he's coming back around. The course history is pretty good here. He played in 2014, long time ago, 44th, but then was 29th last year. So I do like that. The model likes him as well. 26th on approach. He is top 10 in this field on par 5 scoring, 21st in short game, and he's a birdie maker as well. So I like a lot about Pat Perez. I think he is a very nice way to round out a cash lineup here. And then I'll definitely be taking some GPP stabs there because the ownership's not going to be all that high on Pat.
No, I think you're probably getting around 10%, which is okay.
Sure. In this range, that might be kind of high, but it's not high for the event.
You're right. And as we were talking about with Mito, there's guys down here that you're running out of options with. I think Pat Perez is nice. I've been playing him for those past couple of weeks. He's been good strong value, and it's going to continue. All right, moving on to the one and done slide. I endured my first missed cut of the week of the year with Brooks Koepka. So I have burned a miscut with Brooks Koepka. I feel a little upset about that, knowing that Masters week is right around the corner. But oh well, he was on the wrong side of the draw, and what can you do? But I'm trying to bounce back strong. I'm going to go with Justin Thomas here. It's pretty shocking to not have him at a major event, but I think he's due for a win, and he loves winning in Florida. He loves winning on coastal courses. So I'm going to go with JT and hope I can bounce back into the money and pull myself back into it. So what are your thoughts on one and done this week?
Yep, I think Justin's a great option. I think I kind of teetered with a couple of guys that will also be more owned, guys like your Victor Hovland, maybe even a Shane Lowry or Louis Oosthuizen, some of our favorites at DFS. But I want to be able to pull a win here from a guy who's sub 5% owned. For me, that's Keegan Bradley this week. Don't tail my picks. I've been awful in one and done right now. It will come around. I'm convinced I'm going to get a win here in the very near future. But for the moment, don't play Keegan Bradley because I'm playing him instead. Justin Thomas, it seems like a much smarter option.
So I've seen this on Twitter. Someone that was in your position near, dead last, he won with Cam Smith, and the high purse propelled him up to like the top 100. So wins at majors, wins at WGCs, you're back in it.
Yep.
It's all about winning at the big purses. I mean, you could start here with a win at Innisbrook and boom, there you go. You've jumped 2,000 spots. So
yeah,
you're never out of it in one and done. That's the fun part about it. It's all about hitting winners. Yes, consistency can get you cash, but really what we're trying to do here is hit top fives, hit winners, and that's what really makes money at the end of the day. So keep at it, John. All right. Well, that'll wrap things up here for the Valspar Championship. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at TKNation47. That is at JohnCool19. Any last words?
Nope. Looking forward to a much better week. Hopefully no delays. We can have a Sunday finish. Enjoy our Monday without having to scoreboard watch. Much better than last week.
Yeah. That's not fun to be looking at my phone 24/7 while at work, trying to evade, getting in trouble for staring at my phone. It's the players, and I don't want to be at work, right? Oh, well,
Yeah.
that is what it is. But you guys like this video, comment below. You can find us in our Discord chat. You can find that on our website, fsidfs.com. You can follow it on Twitter at FSI_DFS. All right, guys, enjoy St. Patrick's Day. Enjoy, hopefully, a winning week of the Valspar Championship, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And we will see you next week.
Sweet. Good luck.